early 1800s, Aldine developed around the railroad that ran through the area. Over 100 years ago, this area was called Prairie Switch because a train switched engines at this point along the railroad. In those early years, many people moved to Aldine from other places. Travel in Aldine was not easy. The roads were just dirt trails, and some people traveled by horse. People did not always live close to town, and some children had to travel miles to get to school. They walked to school or rode horses. In 1932, voters passed a bond referendum to build S.M.N. Marr School, what is now Lane School. This was the first permanent two-story brick building in AISD. Today, there is a cornerstone that still bears the legend, Common School District Number 29. This is the district's oldest standing campus. In 1935, the residents voted to merge the four communities in Common School District Number 29 into the Aldine Independent School District. AISD acquired part of the White Oak District in 1937. This added portions of Acres Homes to AISD. Included was the White Oak School, which became the district school for African Americans. Leaders later renamed the campus Carver Elementary School and finally A.B. Anderson Elementary School. It is the second oldest campus in AISD. While World War II broke out in Europe in 1939, Aldine ISD reached a student enrollment of 1,100. By the end of the war, AISD reached 3,000. In honor of the many heroes of the war, several high schools bear their names. Douglas A. MacArthur, Dwight D. Eisenhower, Chester W. Nimitz, and Benjamin O. Davis, Jr. In the fall of 1948, AISD opened another high school. This campus was officially named Aldine High School. A portion of the building forms part of Aldine Middle School today. The school's 1935-era wood-frame gymnasium and auditorium burned to the ground November 19, 1948, along with the adjacent old Aldine schoolhouse used to handle overcrowding. In the 1950s, a large number of African Americans migrated into Acres Homes. This led to the construction of a new building in 1954. The campus is Carver High School today. As enrollment surpassed 5,000 students in 1952, classroom overcrowding draws a warning from the state.
In the 1950s, Aldine, like most of the suburban school districts in and around Houston, were growing at a tremendous rate. And that involved bond issues and new construction and tax increases, which were never popular, and they weren't popular in Aldine in 1950.
Then tragedy struck again. The main part of the original Aldine High School building burned down in 1954. 2 years later, the new campus opened at its present location. W.W. Thorne was named superintendent of the district in 1958 at the height of Aldine's financial problems.
In the spring of 1959, and the school's running out of money, the board told the teachers, "We can't pay you, we don't expect you to work." And so the teachers didn't show up for work.
Overcrowding, lack of funding, and an incompetent board raised red flags. AISD lost its accreditation from the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools. The district needed more money to remain open. Mr. Thorne headed to Austin and convinced the legislature to pass a law that allowed Aldine to sell $100 time warrants.
We sold the $200,000 worth of time warrants and reopened the schools. A host of them were purchased by members of the community. On Saturday night about 9 o'clock or so, one of the girls from the front desk came back to my office and said, "I think you need to meet this fellow." There was a black man from Acres Home who had a paper sack, and his statement was, "We've been saving this for the family vacation, but my kids are not in school and they need to be, and I want to buy one of those bonds." That kind of commitment from parents makes an impression.
Within the year, Aldine's accreditation was fully reinstated. Between 1960 and 1966, the district has a massive building program to catch up and meet growth needs. The district built 11 new campuses. For 6 decades, Aldine flourished as a rich farming community, but the tranquil community countryside underwent a drastic change in the early 1970s. Shopping centers and residential developments sprang up everywhere. Superintendent W.W. Thorne retired in 1973, and the board named M.O. Campbell to succeed him. The board had come a long way from its troubles in the 1950s. In 1973, Aldine received the Outstanding School Board Award from the Texas Association of School Administrators. In 1986, the board named M.B. Sonny Donaldson as superintendent after M.O. Campbell retired. Mr. Donaldson's career began in 1967 as a teacher and coach at Aldine High School.
When I graduated from college, we had two opportunities. One was up in Hereford, Texas, and we went up there in April, and the wind was blowing about 40 miles an hour, and it was about 50 degrees, and my wife said, "Well, what's the other choice?" And I said, "Well, it's in Aldine." She said, "Where's that?" I said, "It's in Houston," or outside of Houston at the time. And she said, "Well, let's go take a look." And the first visit here, I won't forget, we got caught in traffic on I-45. We were supposed to meet Jimmy Haley, who was the principal at Aldine High School, at 7 o'clock. He and his wife Alva for pizza and get to know each other. Well, we rolled in there at 9:30. The pizza was cold, but the welcoming was warm. And it was a great time.
The changing demographic profile that began in the 1980s transformed Aldine by 1990. The once white majority semi-rural area was gone. It had become a minority-majority urban community. In 1990, the average Aldine resident was Hispanic. With this change, the district's bilingual program grew rapidly.
In order to continue that educational growth in our students from pre-kindergarten through graduation, we organized the district around vertical teams, with each high school having a middle school, elementary schools. And when we looked at that for the first couple of years, we thought, well, we needed to go further. And we added pre-kindergarten centers because of the large number of limited English-speaking people that were moving into our school district. And we couldn't have done this without the vision of the board and the buy-in from the community. And I think the community supported us in a tremendous way.
The plan worked. AISD earned 7 recognized ratings from the state between 1996 and 2003. Football fans celebrate big in 1990.
Aldine High School won the state championship.
30 yards to go. He'll pick it up. He'll get into the end zone, and Aldine will strike with a huge touchdown.
And ESPN named them the #1 team in the nation. The Texas Association of School Administrators bestowed Aldine with the Outstanding School Board Award in 1998. The American School Board Journal also honored AISD Board of Trustees with a Magna Award. Mr. Donaldson retired as superintendent in June 2001 after 37 years in the district. The board named Nadine Kajava to succeed Donaldson. Mrs. Kajava, an Aldine High School graduate, began her career in Aldine in 1962. She began as a second grade teacher at Olson Elementary School.
My name is Nadine Kajava, and I've spent my whole career in Aldine ISD.
Superintendent Kajava's tenure was marked by more district honors and continued change in demographics.
A change agent for us was Hurricane Katrina. Many of the New Orleans refugees came to Houston and were dispersed throughout the city, and Aldine received many of the students of those refugees.
By the time she retired in 2006, enrollment rose to nearly 58,000 students. Dr. Wanda Bamberg succeeded Mrs. Kajava in 2007. Like her predecessor, she moved up the administrative ranks after serving as a teacher.
I think that favorite memories for me in the district have really been the celebrations over the years. I enjoy and have enjoyed celebrating with campuses their 50th anniversaries, celebrating with students at events, celebrating scholarships for kids, recognizing staff members at the employee dinner every year, thanking people for their service. Those are some of my best memories, because those are the things that bring a tear to your eye. Those are the things that make you feel like when you're going home late at night or coming to work early in the morning, you know that it's worth it because our students are being served by great people and great staff members.
The district made national headlines when in 2009, the Broad Foundation named Aldine the winner.
One of the biggest highlights I think that anyone would name, it would be winning the Broad Prize in 2009. That was a huge accomplishment for the district, a great recognition for our teachers, and it really was not just the culmination of work since I had been superintendent, but for many years before me, we had been on that road to the Broad Prize.
The $1 million prize benefited students in the form of college scholarships. Since 1995, Aldine ISD has added 28 schools. Campuses are at or over capacity.
As of September 15th, 70,569 students. That growth is expected to continue.
Aldine has a small district environment, even though we're a large district, 10th largest in the state of Texas. But you can walk into any of the administrator's office, and if they're there, they will talk to you.
The district feels that every student in our district is important, and that every student in our district deserves every opportunity to advance. Our motto, to produce the nation's best, is not a trite statement. It is really something that we take to heart.
An 80th anniversary is a great milestone, and it shows years of experience, years of dedication, years of work, and years of changing to meet the needs for our changing population. When we talk about the future of Aldine, it's difficult to think about the future without thinking of the past. I heard M.O. Campbell say once in a luncheon, "The reason I can do what I do is because I stand on the shoulders of giants." And that's a quotation often attributed to Isaac Newton, and I'm attributing it now to M.O. Campbell, also one of our great leaders who is not represented here today in person, but certainly his legacy is apparent in the leaders of today. But that is true, that in order to look to the future, we are standing on the shoulders of our predecessors to see their vision and their commitment and their ethics about what we do for kids in Aldine.
When I graduated from high school, I went to college on a scholarship from Aldine PTA. And when it came time to look for a teaching job, Aldine was the only place that I looked for that job. We hear a lot about giving back to the community, and I think the catchphrase now is paying it forward. And that's what I think I did.
It is a thrill to me to see what's happened to the school system. It was really a high point in my career.
It's just a great place to work. You know, you come here as a 23-year-old first-year teacher, the idea you're going to stay a couple of years and get some experience and go back to the country. And all of a sudden you wake up, it's 2001. And you had a great time.